All right, welcome to the Adventures of Alcaraz podcast. My name is Julian Alcaraz.
And I'm Miranda Alcaraz, and this is week 21 to 22. Did you know that?
I knew that we were in the 20s. I didn't know if it was 20 to 21 or 21
I
to
kind of
22.
wanted you to have to say it to see what you would say.
No, I purposely pushed that off over to you.
Yeah, it's the weekend before Christmas,
Yeah,
and here we are at almost 22 weeks tomorrow morning.
22 weeks tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing is we get to actually see him again in a couple weeks, right? Week
In 10 days.
10 days we get to see him again.
Yes.
Wow, that's special. Because now I've been feeling him kick a lot or just move so much now.
He's a wild animal in there.
He's nonstop.
And so, to the point where it's actually hurt me a few times.
Really?
Yeah.
Speaking of hurting, you've been saying that you've been feeling some cramping.
Yeah, I don't know. So the very first time I had some almost what feels like menstrual cramps, but it was a day earlier this week that it was freezing outside. Sorry, this is boring to you.
No,
if you're not watching this, Julian always yawns during my stories because pregnancy is hard for him, apparently. Yeah, it was freezing, and I came from the car to inside the house, and the back door was open, so it was cold inside the house. And I don't know I figured that it was just because I was cold, but I had to get in front of the fire and lay down and put a blanket on me. But I was worried because it was right before we were about to work out, and I was having some cramping, which isn't normal. It's not the same as round ligament pain. It's more of a sharp pain. This was not contraction type cramping, but period cramping. So, and it's happened one other time. But we've been, I know that it's just because we've been so active and so busy this week that more than just the normal workouts, our sleep has been messed up, and
it has.
We've been doing extra intensity on the workouts because of what we've been working on this week, and just a lot of filming, and yeah.
We definitely knew this week was going to be like that, but it was a lot for sure. Especially, it was the same week that we chose to switch Knox from his crib to a toddler bed.
Mm-hmm. So on Sunday, the couple days before Sunday, he was not sleeping he was in this weird sleep regression anyways. He was waking up at several times.
Mm-hmm.
And I was all right, we're not traveling again for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not sleeping well anyway.
No.
Let's just, his new room is ready. We just need the bed in there. Let's just do it. And so on Sunday, we got everything put together and put his bed in there, and basically have been taking turns sleeping with him because he did one night. He did 10:30 p.m. to 4:30 a.m.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
And we thought that was the thing, but then he went back to, so the very first night that we put him in the big bed, he woke up 4 times before midnight, and then I think I just ended up staying in there with him.
That was the very first one, right?
Yeah, and then the next night you kind of did the same thing.
Yeah.
And then the next night was when he went 10:30 to 4:30. He woke up at 9 and I put him back to sleep, and then at 10 and I put him back to sleep, and then he slept till 4:30.
But then you've been...
But that was the night that I had, insomnia. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, we've been alternating nights of not really sleeping and trying to get him used to his big bed, and we've had all these people in town. It's just been a really rough sleep and activity week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely a good time for us to take this approach, just because when Baby B gets here, we didn't want to transition Knox from his current room or the room that he was in, to his current one, because we know the feeling that kids get, we didn't want him to ever feel like we were booting him out of his room when new baby got here.
And we really went for it on his new, he loves his new room. When people come over, he was come see the dinos, come see the dinos. He takes people up there and shows them the dinos and shows him his new bed and everything. So it wasn't oh, hurry and throw him in this room and then decorate the baby room all cute type of thing. It's super cool for him, and he loves it in there. He just, I think because I don't think he's waking up more than he did in the crib. He just realizes he's in a new space, because he would wake up in the crib and just drink his little coconut water and then go back to sleep.
Yeah.
But I think now he realizes he can get out and go to the door and cry, and we just got to break him of that.
Yeah, we will. I mean, it's just first week and not even for full week yet. But one of the things that Kim had mentioned, actually, which is very true, being less tiptoey, because we have to, she's like, I really suggest you guys getting used to just making a lot of loud noise, because when baby gets here, like, you can't be on that tippy toe feel when, like, baby's going to be crying and then all this and that. You might as well get him used to, like, some loud noises and stuff like that, which I was like, oh, man. But applying it to, like, okay, not sneaking out of the room, just, like, being okay with, like, opening door, closing door, things like that, right? So, yeah, that was actually, I was like, oh, man.
That's a good tip. He's better at that than he used to be. We literally used to have to whisper. Like, we wouldn't even be able to speak to each other downstairs after Knox was asleep because it would wake him up. Yeah. Now we can, like, watch TV and talk to each other, or, like, make phone calls, or, like, leave out the front door. But, like, when he was up until he was, like, a year and a half old, we straight up had to, like, whisper in our own home if he was asleep. And it's not because we were, like, in the next room, but he was just such a light sleeper. Yeah.
This week, I mean, even right before we just went live, before this, you were just saying how you don't even know how to feel because you haven't had a time to think.
Yeah, so obviously every time before we sit down on the podcast, we try to, like, even remember what we did this week because we're always so busy. And I was like, I wasn't pregnant this week. Knox, in his new bed, he doesn't care that I'm pregnant. He's not going to let me get sleep. All the meetings and everything that we had this week, like, that had to happen because when people come in town for work stuff, they're only here for 2 days and they have all this stuff they want to talk to us about. And so how tired I am or how much sleep I didn't get the night before, like, none of that matters. The only person that cared was you, helping me sleep in on the days that I could.
I try to make sure you're well fed and you're getting the sleep as best you can, even though, like, it's still interrupted, like, you know, but those are all little things that in the meantime are easy to do for sure.
Yeah. How have you been feeling this week?
I would say the biggest thing is I was getting into a flow with waking up early and, having alone time, but then transitioning immediately into this whole Knox change will kind of change things for sure.
He's like waking up at 5 a.m.
He wakes up at 5 a.m., which pushes me to, like, man, it depends. Like, we alternate nights now with him. So that's put us in a position where, like, I try to go to bed by 8:30 or 9, and he'll wake up once, and so we'll go in there, put him down, but then he'll wake. If he wakes up again and it's after midnight, it's just so hard. I'm not willing to keep my 4 a.m. schedule. Like, I'd rather just know that I need to function, and I'll find a way to fit in some other, like, alone time, because, we just kind of stay in there with him until he, like, adjusts. It's been so new for him, but yeah. Other than that, I mean, that's been the only change. I feel bad sometimes when you're going through all these random symptoms like your insomnia and how that's affecting your sleep. I also, like, when you send me messages that you're cramping, I have no answer. I would say those are the hardest things because I don't even know how to text back. Like, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, it's just because there's so much unknown. I don't know why you're going through that. But yeah, I would say that's, for me, that's been the one thing that I've been thinking about this week.
Yeah. The other thing, so I did that post this week with my back fat.
Oh, that's right.
So it might seem like really cool that we have the podcast and the vlog and the photographers here all the time, but, like, I don't know that most pregnant women want that necessarily. Like, a lot of pregnant, especially, like, I would say fit pregnant people, they go kind of dark when they're pregnant and they don't post a lot. It's like we've seen it a lot in our, like, the CrossFit community or, like, people that we know, right? And so our photographer had sent me some photos from the last time he was here, and I opened them, and every single one, like, the bra that I was wearing was making it worse, just, like, everything. And I looked so tired and just, like, this, like, I think when you're pregnant, you kind of, like, accept the belly, but, like, some of the other stuff, you're just like, oh my gosh. And all of them were just such bad photos. Anyway, there was a couple where it was like this like back fat roll, and I posted it, and it got like a really big response from people. So I had posted it saying like, hey, I still eat exactly the way that I did when I looked really lean and fit. I still work out the same amount. Like my intensity's lower and the weight's lower, you know, and stuff a little bit, but not really that much different. Like this is just what your body does. Like you can't prevent it, and like you shouldn't try to prevent it type of thing. More than just like, you know, staying healthy. But yeah, I got a really big response. But then I think this week too, anytime that the crew is in town, it's like so much filming and photo taking and everything. And it's just like, now I'm kind of like dreading seeing that stuff. Like I don't even want to see it.
Any of the stuff that got shot?
Well, yeah, so we're filming in January. Street Parking's coming out with like a fun like weekly challenge for our members, and we're filming all the videos for that. And it kind of bums me out that like you guys are going to look like you guys in those, because they'll be going for 6 months. And like for this like debut of this like super cool thing, I'm like the frumpy like pregnant one in the group. Like I'm not super stoked about that.
Yeah.
I even like actually emailed one of our like Chris, our brand guy who helps with like building like promotional stuff. And I was like, please don't use, when we're promoting this, don't use the pregnant photos. Let's use old photos and throw the logo on it. Like it's okay to do some throwback photos when we're promoting stuff for Street Parking. Like you don't have to like grab one of the like I'm exhausted and have back fat pregnant photos to promote this. But yeah, so it's kind of just like, even today, Molly and I filmed for like 3 hours this morning. And Molly, of course, just looks super jacked. And I remember when she was pregnant and it was the other way around, that she felt the same way. And then as soon as we were done, it was like, hey, we have this photo thing all set up for your weekly pregnancy photo. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and you're like
kind of
exhausted.
like, yeah, so that's why I'm like in my baggy sweats and everything. Like this is the energy level that I had for getting ready today.
Yeah. Well, this upcoming week's going to be more relaxing, thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
We to be home for the holiday, Christmas Eve, in our home. And, you know, it's not going to be as chaotic anymore with people, which is great.
Yeah, I think something that I have to keep reminding myself, because it's a holiday season and we have some fun traditions that do involve food. Like I make the cinnamon rolls, and we want to start a new tradition with your mom making Christmas Eve tamales.
Oh, yeah.
And when I see those photos, it's really hard. It's really easy for me to be like, I'm not going to eat any of that stuff. Like it's just making it worse. But the thing is like, it isn't. Even I was telling Molly, I for sure ate so much worse when I was pregnant with Knox.
Yeah, and even then, that was really good eating.
Yeah, but like we ate out a lot more.
Yeah, we ate out a lot more. Now it's it's cleaned up
and it's
a lot.
just different. Like it's the second pregnancy and it's different. And, you know, I was trying to be realistic about it too. We did have street parking when I was pregnant with Knox, but not nearly media-wise was I being followed around with a camera all the time. I think we had Benny come for photos like twice during my whole pregnancy with Knox. And now it's like weekly I'm seeing photos of me working out. So I don't know that it's necessary. I know I do look different with this pregnancy, but it's exaggerated by how well documented it is at this point.
Yeah.
And that we have a toddler. And we live somewhere where there's no sun. So I just need to go get a spray tan. That might help.
And we have 4 dogs.
We had 4 dogs then too.
But it's just adding to the yeah.
One of them was just smaller.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I mean, I think that's it. This because one, we're wrecked.
We are so tired.
Yeah, it's time for us to go catch up on some rest. But hey, this is real life, guys. So not welcome. See, I don't even know what I'm saying. That is going to finish this week's episode of Adventures of Alcaraz. Thank you guys for listening on a week-to-week basis.
We hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas if you listened to this before, or just happy holidays or happy New Year if you listen to this after Christmas, and enjoy time with your families.